Hey guys, I want to talk to you about sales and one of the main framework of sales and why sales is a science as much as it's an art, and the science part is actually what you can learn. The art part comes from practice, and if you put the two together, you get really good at sales. And why is sales important? Well, hopefully we'll figure that out by the end of this video, that sales is actually not bad. It's bad salespeople that make sales a bad thing. Sales is not a zero-sum game. A good salesperson puts the world together. A bad one, or rather they're not even a salesperson, they tear the world apart. So let's talk about that. When you sell something to somebody, the idea is you are showing them something that is in their best interest. That's why we say it's advising, sales advising, service advising, because what you're doing is you're basically saying, look, I'm the expert in this field, and I can help you make this decision, and I can give you all the options and then guide you towards the one that's going to actually fix your problem, prevent future issues, and also give you the most value for your dollars. That's what a good salesperson, service advisor should do, because remember, you can sell something to someone for more money or not needed and win in the short run, but if you realize the game is not about transactions, it's about getting wealthy, right? If you win today but you lose tomorrow, you didn't really win. You're never going to get a customer's lifetime value, which is $15,000 in our industry, in the first visit or the second. Maybe one out of 1,000, 10,000 customers will spend 15 grand with you. And even that you're probably not going to be very happy with, because if they don't come back, then what's the use? Because you have to keep buying more customers, and ultimately you will run out of money or run out of customers to buy. Bad game to play. You got to play the game to win in long term, and you don't want to get rich. You want to become wealthy, and you become wealthy through retaining customers forever, ultimately, because the shop, I've said this 1,000 times, the shop that wins the game is the one that has the biggest database. That's it. Or the company or the brand that has the biggest database wins ultimately. Think of Starbucks, how many loyal customers they got, or think of Walmart, or think of McDonald's, how many loyal customers go to McDonald's every single day. That's how they grow the business. They don't grow the business by doing it one time. That said, what is sales? Sales is the art of overcoming objections. That is what sales is. Sales is when you have someone in front of you that needs something, wants something, but doesn't want to buy it because they have objections and they need it. If the person doesn't have objections, they're going to say yes, and which means you're going to get the sale. If they have objections and you cannot overcome them, they're going to say no, which means you don't get the sale, and you can also lose the customer ultimately, because they're not going to buy from you, they're going to buy some from someone else. We always say the car that needs brakes that leaves your bay doesn't go to the scrapyard, it goes to your competitor. So you don't want your customers to go to your competitors, because we can assume they're never going to come back. Anyway, going back to sales, the sales is the art of overcoming objections. And objections are all based in one thing ultimately. If you have no objections, it's because you have ultimate trust. More trust equals low objections equals high sales. That makes sense, right? Because think about it. People are like, oh, that's a money objection. Oh, that's a value objection, or that's I don't think it's needed objection. But really, ultimately, what are all those? Those are trust objections. Because I've always given the example. If I take this watch off and I say, hey man, I'm going to sell you this watch for $10,000, and you trust me, you say, oh, Zane's never done me wrong. We have a great relationship. This guy's competent, and we'll get into all that. Are you going to buy the watch for 10 grand? Yes, because again, you trust me. If you trust me fully, you're not going to have an objection. You're going to say, you know what? Zane's a trustworthy person. That watch is probably worth 10 grand. It might even be worth 15, but he's probably hooking me up because my history with Zane, or his reputation, or so far what he's demonstrated shows me that he is a trustworthy person. Therefore, the watch is worth 10 grand because Zane is selling it. Now, the same watch could be sold by someone else that you don't trust, and you wouldn't buy it for 10 grand because you don't trust that person. On the contrary, I could take this watch and say, hey, I'm going to sell you this for $100, but if you don't trust me, you wouldn't even buy it for $100. You know what? That dude's kind of a crooked guy, and it's probably not a good watch, or it's probably not real, or it's probably whatever, right? It's $100, not going to give it to him. Because why? You don't trust me. So ultimately, all objections are trust objections. That's something you need to understand. If a customer doesn't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. And if they trust you, they will buy from you. Well, Zane, you might be thinking, what if they actually don't have money? And that I always give the example of, if you trust the person, then you will find the money. Let me tell you that. If you trust me with your life, and I say, hey man, don't go there, you're going to die, you're going to not go there. And if you have brakes that are bad, and I say, hey, you cannot drive with those brakes, you're going to trust me, and you're going to say, I'm going to go borrow, beg, or steal, and I'm going to go find the money. And it goes back to the watch example, right? If I sell you this watch for $3 grand and it's a $10,000 watch, are you going to go find $3 grand? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. If you find a $10,000 watch for $3 grand and you don't have $3 grand, I promise you, you will find $3 grand. Because why? Because it's a $7,000 upside. Why? Because you trust the guy. It's worth it. It's worth it because it's trustworthy. When you have trust with somebody, you will find the money. People, and by the way, guys, we have financing. We have all sorts of other things they can do. We can also cut the deal. And also the old saying, nobody goes into a repair shop with no money. Right? I refuse to believe that. Nobody brings in a broke car with no money. And they won't apply for financing, right? Really, like, that guy really didn't have money. He took his time out today to go window shop a bunch of auto repair shops. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. Nobody does that. And if they're going to bring in a broke car to your shop and they say they don't have money and then you offer them financing and they say no, I promise you it's not a money problem. They don't trust you. They're just too nice to tell you otherwise. Ultimately, you have to build trust. So once again, when trust is high, objections are low, sales go up. Where does trust come from? Trust comes from two things. Trust comes from competence plus integrity. When the customer sees that you're competent and they see that you have integrity, the trust will be there. Competence means you know how to do the job. Integrity means you're honest and you mean well and you give a crap. How do you demonstrate those two things? Well, that gets a little bit complicated. And I'll give you the short answer here. The short answer is the basics. The basics will show the customer that you have competence and you have integrity. If you don't do the basics, you will not be able to show that you have competence and integrity. Therefore, you will not be able to show you have trust, and then you'll not be able to overcome objections and your sales will go down. That is why we hit so hard on the basics. What are the basics? The basics is saying yes, following the circle of sales, following the can job sheet, following how to write up and how to cash out customers, and of course, the fifth one, QC. And if you do those 5 things, it will protect your trust and your competence and your integrity. If you have those 5 things, it will very easily to show the customer we're competent. But think about it. If all our phones are answered the same way and we always say yes, we look professional, we're not stuttering on the phone, we're following a script, you look like you know what the hell you're doing, whether your first day at work or 1,000 day at work. When you follow the circle of sales, you're fast. We always know that customer hates shops that are slow. They hate shops that take an hour to call them. What does circle of sales say? 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. You're on it. You're on the offensive side. Again, when you're fast, people think you're smart. Not only that, the integrity, you might be thinking, well, what does that have to do with integrity, Zane? Well, think about it. If a customer says, I'm going to drop off my car, and you say, I'm going to call you back in an hour, and you call them in 35 to 40 minutes, what did that just demonstrate? This man is trustworthy. Because he said he's going to call me in an hour, and he's been calling me before that. As the transaction, and this is, by the way, for first-time customers, as the transaction proceeds, you're able to show that, hey, I am somebody that keeps my word. So therefore, when I tell you your car is going to be fixed after you pay me, it will be fixed. See, guys, the thing is, people don't follow the process. They don't do the basics. And then they're like, oh, yeah, man, these customers, man, they don't trust us. Well, yeah, dude. You're just running audibles all day. You're not following the playbook. You're not following the training. And what do we always talk about? The difference between a pro and an amateur is consistency, consistency, and consistency. Zane, consistency on what? On the basics, man. That's the difference. The amateur loses the basics. He does them every now and then. The pro, the reason they're the pro is because they never fall short on the basics. They may fall short on the advanced stuff, but the basics are not even a question. They've done it for over 10,000 times, right? We talk about the mastery. It's not 10,000 hours, it's 10,000 iterations. And every time you do it, you get a little bit better, a little bit better. That's the difference. The pro does the basics 10,000 times. That's the difference. And if you stop doing the basics, you will 100%. Mark my words. I've done this for a very long time. Mark my words. If you don't do the basics, you will fail. I promise you that. You will fail. You will not be able to demonstrate trust. You will have good days and you will have bad days. And you will have no freaking clue why. You'll blame the market. You'll blame your customers. You'll blame your competitors. You'll blame the freaking sky. You'll blame your wife, your husband. And you'll never understand that the reason why you're not succeeding consistently is because you don't do the basics consistently. Guys, when you do the basics, you demonstrate trust and you demonstrate the fact that you can overcome objections. When you do the basics, you're able to show the customer that you are competent and that you have integrity. And not only that, after they leave, because you've QC'd the car, they're like, oh my gosh, not only was he fast, not only was he on time, not only did he keep his word, also the car got fixed correctly because they followed the write-up procedure and the cash-out procedure. You guys did the final touch. You made sure the customer was happy with the entire process. You QC the car as the car was fixed right. And guess what? When they leave, their confidence in you goes only up because you demonstrated that not only are you competent with communication, you also had competence with fixing the car and you kept your integrity. You said it was going to be fixed and it got fixed correctly. The next time they come back, your trust is already up here and it requires just a little bit more to continue that process. You get a lot of grace with customers when you've done the basics with them. You get no grace with customers if it's their first time and you do not follow the basics. And this is to all you new guys in the company. A lot of you guys come in now and you're like, oh, sales is so easy because you're standing on 15, 16, 18 years of our trust that we've built with our customers. Especially if you're in a store that's been around, and all our stores have been around for years now. And you come in and you're like, oh yeah, and some of you guys don't follow the basics, and you start out really nice, and then you destroy the store's reputation, and you destroy the momentum that we have built because you don't believe in doing the basics. Some of you guys have not even memorized a phone script by now. Some of you guys don't even know how the sales process works in Circle of Sales. Some of you guys don't understand how to write up the customer and ask the proper questions that we say you should ask. Some of you don't even do the final touch and ask again the right questions and make sure the customer's happy. Some of you guys don't cross-check your QC process. Some of you guys aren't even looking at the QC sheet when you actually go to cash out the customer, and then you're making your customer be your QC guy. And then you're wondering why customers don't want to buy from you. Do you think this is some magic that Zane comes in and waves a wand, or some of these more good sales guys, experienced guys that customers love, AJ, Shaquille, Jose, if I can name a few, Ryan, right? These guys are just wand wavers. They're not wand wavers, man. It's practice on the basics. And if you stop doing the basics, I promise you, you will eventually destroy the store's reputation. Not only that, you're ruining the brand's reputation now at this point. At this point, it's not even a store. You're actually ruining the entire company, because they're going to go there and say those guys idiots at Carfix, whatever, and the other Carfixes must be idiots too because it's the same brand. Guys, I'm telling you, the basics are non-negotiable, and if you want to become really good at sales, you need to understand that the basics increase your competence in the customer's eyes, the integrity in the customer's eyes, and ultimately it reduces objections because it raises trust. And when trust goes up, objections will go down 7 days a week. And when objections go down, well, hell, you're off to the races, man. Imagine you're at a store where the customer just throw you their keys and their credit card and say, get it done, because you guys are money. Every single time I come here, you guys are money, because it is a consistent process. You guys are sons of guns. Get my car fixed, and when it's done, I'm going to bring you 2 more cars so that you can fix those 2. Guys, let me tell you this. There's stores out there that do that. Some of our stores do that. And that's not an accident. It's by design. Just like you don't win the Super Bowl by accident, just because you don't become a Michael Phelps by accident. Same thing with business. You don't become great. You don't become the GOAT of auto repair by freaking accident. You have to design it and then practice it and run the same playbook. And if you don't want to run the playbook, I don't even know why you're here. If you want to do this your way, then great, go figure it out, go do it for 10 years like we did, and make a ton of mistakes and lose millions of dollars, and then you'll come to the same conclusion. Oh, these guys are right. Instead of doing that, just take this playbook, and if you don't like it, come talk to me. You got my phone number. We can have a conversation about why you think our process sucks. Because if it sucks, we'll fix it, I promise you. But if you don't think it sucks, then why aren't you following it? Please, for the love of God, follow the process. And if I find you guys not following the process, I think you understand what that means for you. And because you're hurting everybody at that point. Anyway, I hope it helps. Long rant, probably the most important video I've made all year. And I made hundreds of videos this year. So this is the most important video I've made all year. The basics will increase your trust and competence with the customer, the integrity in their eyes. And if you do that, you're good to go, man. I got no advice for you. And by the way, those of you that are already doing this, God bless you. You guys are the ones that are the foundation of our company. God bless you. Continue doing what you're doing. And please don't tolerate nonsense and not basics from other people. And remember, there's also 5 core principles that we follow. Say yes to your customer. Speed equals sales. Sales fixes everything. Sales fixes everything. Speed equals sales. I forgot all that. And say yes to your customer. And the team is the hero. Customer is the boss, right? If you do these things and you believe in these principles, you believe in the basics that I mentioned earlier, you're going to be great. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see ya.